Alright, welcome ladies and gents. This is my review of The Last of Us Episode 5, Endure and Survive. Now, I'm going to talk as non-spoilers as possible for the first part of the review, and then we're just going to get to spoilers, because you can't really review this episode without going into spoilers. It's fairly close and faithful to the games. There's slight tweaks here and there, but the end result's pretty much the same, and the emotional ramifications are equally as harrowing. I have literally, not just finished it. Obviously, I've got to compose myself for these reviews, but not long finished it. And boy, what an ending. Boy, what an ending. But let's start at the start. Well, we obviously learn a little bit more about the rebel leader, Kathleen, the quiet, demeanored rebel leader who's out for blood. I will say, still don't really buy her as a leader. There's one line of dialogue which I guess explains why she is the leader. She gets things done. She's changed things. That was it. That was literally it, whereas her brother didn't. That's it. There's no other explanation as to why she is the leader. But we learn a little bit more about Kathleen and why she is out to kill an informant named Henry, and obviously his younger brother, Sam. In the games, they're a little bit older. Well, Sam is, and he's not deaf. But again, largely the same anyway. Now we learn a little bit more about that backstory. The Kathleen character isn't really necessary. She's genuinely surplus to requirements. She's basically a prop for this episode to progress in the way that it does, but is actually not required in any way, shape, or form. You could leave her out of this and still have the same episode, basically. In fact, I think you'd have a tighter episode because, again, where she goes and how this episode rounds itself out, there's not really any point in having her in it. And I guess realistically, that does take me into the spoiler section. So for non-spoilers, I would just say good episode, solid. They are changing and adding things which I feel is somewhat unnecessary, and now I'll explain why. So obviously we learn about this is spoilers now. We learn about this Kathleen character, the rebel leader. And obviously, she's leading this rebel army. They've overtaken Kansas. They're there. They're loving life now, and she gets things done. And we plump out this episode with her really demanding where she can find her brother. So much so that she just murders a bunch of people. Doesn't put them on trial. No, just murders them. What a badass. And ultimately she just dies. She's literally a surplus to requirements character. You'd have a tighter episode without her, quite frankly. She served no purpose at all. It's an original character that they created just for this episode, or for these two episodes. Completely redundant. She just dies at the end like a bitch. Completely pointless. No need. You could have the same elements of this story. The rebel army trying to find Henry and Sam. They culminate in big gunfire. The bloater comes out. Exactly the same elements could have occurred without the additional bloat, pun intended, to the episode. So a bit disappointed that they chose to do this, and I'm sure loads of people will be fine with it. But hopefully some people will see what I'm trying to say and understand. Now, on to really, really good things though, because again, characters, they do add all the time for certain elements, and people added to stories merely just as plot devices to move the narrative along. They do it all the time. It doesn't mean it's right, but I will acknowledge that series do it all the time. The actors who played Henry and Sam, absolutely fantastic. Lamar Johnson, who played Henry, was really, really, really good. Really, really good. Absolutely fantastic. Genuinely great. Really, really decent. Now, in terms of why they're so good and how the emotional ramifications worked, obviously we figure out why Kathleen's after him, because Henry was trying to save his younger brother. And so he's an informant, and that's why he's trying to save his younger brother. Or he was trying to save his younger brother, and he was an informant to get medicine for his younger brother. So he cares deeply for his younger brother. And ultimately, in trying to escape, Sam gets infected, and Henry has to kill him. This happens fairly similarly in the game. Not exactly the same, but pretty similar. So, you know, there's an encounter. They're on a bridge. Joel and Ellie jump off into the water. They find Henry and Sam wash up on, after they wash up on a beach. They reach sewer tunnels. They fight off some more infected. And then, basically, they have another sniper. They kill them. Wake up in the morning. Sam attacks Ellie. Henry shoots him. And Henry shoots himself. That's the game. It's very, very similar. They could have done all of that and still made you feel the emotional elements. So I do feel like that was a bit of a waste of time, but still very good actors to be able to pull all of that off. And you know what? I think the words "holy shit" did leave my mouth because seeing it in live action was just brutal. Savage. Absolutely savage. Because you do feel for these characters. You genuinely do, but you didn't need the rebel leader to be there. You could have had every other element in this without the rebel leader, Kathleen. You know, could have seen them at the start, escaping, running away. Could have done all of that. Just the army chasing them. Just some distant, whoa, where is he? In fact, you could have spent more time with Henry and Sam and build up more of an emotional attachment to them if you cut out Kathleen. Genuinely. So I feel that was a massive waste of time. And you would have had a better episode, tighter episode, without that character. But it was brutal. Again, there's dialogue from Henry, which says, you were a father. I can see it. You don't need to say it. I saw it. And it's those kind of elements that start to really build out Joel as this individual who's really starting to break down and care about Ellie, something which he desperately needs to do to become this character. This sort of unwitting father figure that he obviously does become, and that we will enjoy him as, and that's great. It's nice to see it. It's laying the foundation work again. The Bloater was epic. Could have been cooler. I would love to see it do a little bit more stuff, but it was epic. Ripped a guy's head clean off. I'm down for that. That's epic. Give me more of that. Give me more of that. And the cinematography, where all the clickers ran out and the Bloater was there, was beautifully done. Very tense, gripping, very scary. Not scary. I'm an adult. Seldom do adults get scared by anything. But you know what I mean. It's tense. It's gripping. So I loved that a lot. Music was great. The closing, as they bury Henry and Sam, beautifully done. With Ellie writing "I'm sorry" on the board that Sam used because he was deaf to communicate. Loved it. Solid episode. Sorry I am a day late. Obviously it's released early. It's thrown me out of whack. But I hope you enjoyed this nonetheless. Let me know your thoughts down below. What did you think? What did you think about the character of Kathleen? Do you feel like I do, that you could have just removed her and it would have been the same? If you don't feel the same, I'd love to know why. Again, remember, if you can remove a character and the episode could still go exactly the same way with every other character around that character acting in the exact same fashion, how's that not surplus to requirements? I'd love the explanation basically as to why you disagree. So anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Please do give the video a like and please do share it. These reviews don't get loads of views, but it would be good if you think anyone that would enjoy it wants to join in the conversation. Please do share it with them. Drop your thoughts down below in the comment section. Join in the conversation and the debate. And please do as well follow me over on Twitter for updates like this. It's a great platform. Well, it's not a great platform. It's a shit platform. But my Twitter's really cool. There's loads of cool people on there. So I'd love to have you there as well. Cheers, ladies and gents. Hope you have a great evening. Watch out for all the Super Bowl vids coming your way. Take care.